What I think we were able to do was to bring Channel 9 into everybody's awareness. It became a place that people actually would stop on the dial.
Almost overnight, Tony Tiano took KETC in a completely new direction.
There had not been, because of Bob's philosophy, there hadn't been much attention paid to the primetime evening programming. He had really devoted most of his time and energy to serving the schools, and that's a very important thing to do. And we wanted to continue to do that, but we also wanted to see if we couldn't provide some services in the evening. And so it was a station that hadn't seen, it was a market, an audience, that had never seen most of what public television had on the air everywhere else in the country. We changed the logo of the station. It's a little embarrassing to remember that we called it the New 9, which nobody'd ever do today. I mean, nobody would ever be able to sort of stomach that. But we called it the New 9 with a new logo and brought in a whole lot of new programming. And it did. We were very fortunate. The television critics and the folks who were supporting and looking at the station were very positive about it.
Tony Tiano was a very show-busy guy. One of his things was to do a New Year's Eve party in the studio with a live audience, and the entertainment was Steve Martin and the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. And it was fabulous. It was back in the days when Steve Martin was doing the arrow through the head thing, you know, and wear the white suit and was saying, "Excuse me."
Tony had pizzazz, and that's what it would take to put KETC on the PBS bandwagon and make St. Louis pay attention.
So all of a sudden we've got the News Hour, we've got programs like Masterpiece Theater, American Experience, great performances. All of those things are starting at just about the same time, and they're on the air, and they become huge hits for public television.
He turned on-air auctions into major community events, bringing a small army of volunteers into the station.
The volunteers were a delightful group of people who were proud to be there and wanted to be seen on television. And of course the goodwill that we generated, I think, was extremely important. It was no longer just an educational, if nothing else is on television, you might tune into. But there were some very avant-garde things going on.
Everything is so terrific now, I am going to stay.
Oh, you're going to stay?
Yeah.
Channel 9 was getting hip. There was buzz in St. Louis and around the country about this PBS. This could have been the end of our story. Plucky little station fights the odds, elbows its way into the limelight, where after all these years, it finally receives the respect that it deserves. And they all lived happily ever after. Curtain, applause. But there's more to the story. After less than 2 years, Tony Tiano left KETC to take charge of PBS station KQED in San Francisco. His successor, Michael Hardgrove, would lead the station for almost 25 years. But if it seemed that Channel 9 could finally breathe easier, surprise. Because the entire world in which television lived would change more rapidly and dramatically than anyone could possibly imagine. Interesting times pose dangers and opportunities. The question is, how do you tell them apart? And what do you do even if you can? KETC's survival would depend on doing just that. The sudden growth of cable and satellite surprised both commercial and public TV with new competition. Surfing replaced watching. PBS lookalikes appeared across the dial, offering movies, nature programs, shows on history, home improvement, art. PBS dropped its slogan, "If we don't do it, who will?" Life in television has long been a game of technological leapfrog. We jumped from film to video, black and white to color, analog to digital. But new discoveries and inventions come so quickly to the industry today that knowing how, whether, or when to implement them is critical. Channel 9's new high-definition editing suite offers the ultimate in video quality and represents the future of television as we see it today. Soon our television sets and personal computers will merge in a world of instant digital information. Every technological leap is expensive, and the station that acts too late, jumps too soon, or chooses the wrong path risks extinction. But that same technological explosion offers solutions as well. Today, Channel 9 offers 4 digital channels, making it possible to provide a wider range of programs than it ever imagined. In the 1980s and 90s, Channel 9 would produce a wide variety of innovative local programs on public affairs, the arts, minority issues, and cultural events.
During the time that I worked at Channel 9, there was a strong commitment to producing local programs because we felt that that was the best way that we could attract a larger audience, was to focus on issues that news stations could not take the time to delve into. So it was a wonderful time to work at Channel 9 because we had artistic freedom and there was a creative energy, there was a group of producers, and every night we had a locally produced show on the air.
That seems fair to me.
Fairness isn't the issue with any
In 1987, KETC launched one of public television's most popular and enduring local programs, a show that has been imitated by other PBS stations across the country.
Welcome to Donnybrook, a freewheeling exercise with no holds barred. I'm Martin Dugan, and I want you to meet my cast of characters. Mark Vittert, founder of Business Journal Publications. Ray Hartman, editor-publisher of the Riverfront Times. Bill McClellan, columnist for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Rich Coster, national sports editor of Business Journal Publications.
By the time we started Donnybrook, Channel 9 had evolved into quite something else, too, right? It had the News Hour and various documentaries and all good, clean, quality stuff, as I saw it. And I figured we would have the freedom to say what we wanted to say, and also the magic, I believe, is no commercial interruption.
In the highly competitive and rapidly changing world of 21st century television, KETC would stand out from other stations by being the region's storyteller, exploring who we are and where we came from, how we think, and what kind of future we're building. Channel 9's outreach programs take education beyond the airwaves and into homes and neighborhoods, providing learning tools to people of all ages, from preschoolers to adults, encouraging literacy and curiosity.
Many people are surprised that Channel 9 is involved in education. They see what we do on TV, but they're amazed that we go out to the community and really connect teachers and parents and caregivers and kids to resources to help them learn.
When Channel 9 outgrew its old home on the Washington University campus, the St. Louis community provided the financial support the station needed to build one of the finest public television stations in the nation, in the heart of Grand Center in Midtown St. Louis.
It was not a quick or easy decision for the trustees to make because at that time Grand Center was just beginning to evolve. And I'll never forget our board chairman at that time, talking about the move to Grand Center, said, I don't mind being a pioneer, but I like to look back and see more wagons coming.
More pioneers did come. And as KETC moved into new studios and a new century, it had more cause for optimism than it ever had in a half-century of broadcasting.